Getting whitelist spots for your NFT projects can be very tedious. Spending hours of your day grinding on Discord servers and talking with people from across the world only for a chance at a whitelist spot for your desired NFT project. Hi, good morning. There has got to be an easier way for you, but don't worry. I'm here to go over 8 ways to get whitelist spots. The NFT world has taken a turn in making it so that whitelist spots are now the treasured gold that everyone is after. The purpose of a whitelist spot was to guarantee an individual an opportunity to mint their project without having to pay insanely high gas fees or fight for one of the NFTs during public sale. When thinking about all the ways to get whitelist spots, these are the factors that I consider. Number 1, time. How much of my time will implementing this method take in order for me to get a whitelist spot? Number 2, chances. If I implement this method, what are my actual chances of getting a whitelist spot because of it? Number 3, return. If I implement this method, what sort of returns will I make? For the past 2 months or so, I've been able to get whitelisted for over 40 projects, which in my opinion is pretty good for a complete newbie joining the NFT space. So in this video, I'll be showing you how I did it so that you can learn how to get whitelist spots also. So for each of these methods, I'm going to be giving it anywhere from 0 stars to 5 stars, with 0 stars meaning that it's a very poor method, 1 star meaning it's a poor method, 2 stars meaning that it's an okay method, 3 stars being that it's a good method, 4 stars being that it's a very good method, and 5 stars meaning that it's an excellent method of getting whitelist spots. So let's get straight into it. Method number 1 involves Discord grinds/invites. The amount of time it takes to get a whitelist spot through Discord grinds and invites is very long. So how Discord servers usually run is that you have to hit quote unquote a certain level on their Discord server, and in order to gain experience points to kind of level up on their server, you simply have to talk on the server. So as you can see, this kind of ties into an endless spam/grind to see who can hit level 10 first, and it overall just doesn't build a good community. However, the chances of you actually obtaining a whitelist spot once you actually fulfill their criteria, for example, to get a whitelist spot, you have to hit level 10 and invite 5 people to their server. It's pretty certain as long as you fulfill that criteria, you will get a whitelist spot. And in return, you will strictly get an NFT and possibly make new friends in the NFT space along the way. As for the cons of this method, usually this results in an endless amount of spam in the general channel and a very loosely connected community. So this can be achieved also by a lot of Discord bots, which ties into the fact that this tends to lead to a lot of spam within all their chats. People are talking to simply level up and not really having a meaningful conversation. For the rating for this method, I do give it 1 star, and my experience with this type of whitelist method is that for a project called Real Troops, I had to hit a certain level and invite a certain amount of people to their server in order to get whitelisted. I was guaranteed a whitelist spot, which I was able to obtain. So like I said, the drawbacks of the endless spam on the server, you are going to get guaranteed a whitelist spot usually as long as you fulfill the criteria. So I was able to successfully mint Real Troops, and 4 months later roughly, or I think it's been about 3 months, Real Troop has actually almost 4x. But let's move on to method number 2. Method number 2 involves alpha groups. So the time it takes to kind of engage in alpha groups in order to get whitelist spots is little to moderate time. In terms of hours, we're looking maybe a total of maybe 8 hours spent talking in the alpha group compared to method number 1, which you'll probably be spending anywhere from 2 to 4 hours every single day just to level up. As far as chances for getting a whitelist spot in alpha groups tend to get whitelist spots for the entire alpha group, or essentially the majority, or whatever, how many spots they can actually obtain. But compare that to the random public giveaways that occur on Twitter, on Discord, you have a higher chance of getting a whitelist spot within an alpha group than you do out in the general public. And in return, you will get a whitelist spot and important information within the NFT space, which is usually conducted within these alpha groups. Think about NFT security alerts, mint times, early NFTs entering the space, or influencer talk when it comes to upcoming NFT projects. The cons of an alpha group and getting a whitelist spots through that method is that usually it's very expensive to join, and it requires that the alpha group is built of some veterans or highly motivated learners within the NFT space. You can't just group 100 people together and call it an alpha. And the reason why is because the inexperienced NFT enthusiasts and investors are likely to get spots within these alpha groups. However, hopefully these individuals are willing to learn and implement the skills learned from their alpha. So for the rating for this method, I give it 4 stars, and my experience with this method of joining alpha groups in order to obtain whitelist spots has been very, very lucrative. For example, I'm part of the Llamaverse since I am a Llama Boost holder, and because I'm a part of Llamaverse, they occasionally have whitelist giveaways for their Llama Boost holders, which is their NFT, and I was able to win one of their giveaways in which the project was minting for 0.07 Ethereum. I minted 3 of them on mint day and basically flipped one for 0.25 Ethereum. So that basically de-risked my other 2 NFTs, which I'm now holding on or risk-free since the 3rd NFT paid for the other 2 NFTs. So that's a strategy called de-risking, in which I'll be going over in a future video. But speaking of alpha groups, one group you can join today is the JC NFT Patreon community, which has just started about roughly 3 days ago. You can join in and obtain our Harpoon calendar, which will be used for kind of our NFT alerts. You'll get first access to whitelist spots in which we align collaborations for upcoming new projects. You'll get early bird review videos for upcoming early projects. And when our 3rd tier gets released, which is called our Meg tier, we'll be forming that into an alpha group in which we'll be landing collab spots with upcoming NFT projects and trying our best to guarantee our limited members a spot within that project. So let's go ahead and move on to the 3rd method of getting whitelist spots. So the 3rd method of getting whitelist spots involves being helpful. So the amount of time it's going to take for you to be helpful, it ranges from a little to a lot of time depending on how much time you spend on that Discord server. As far as for chances go, for you to get a whitelist spots, moderators need to be able to see your help, which could be a difficult thing. In a very big Discord server, this can be extremely hard to get noticed when you're constantly helping people. But in a very small server, this can be a lot easier. I've joined a Discord group where I was helping someone with security issues, and one of the mods reached out to me and told me to open a support ticket. Instantly, I was rewarded with a whitelist spot. The return you get from providing help in order to get whitelist spots is strictly just the NFT, and of course, possible new friends within the NFT space. The cons for implementing this method though is that nothing really wrong can go wrong with genuinely helping some people other than investing your own time. So it's not a bad method to implement. Sometimes people try to be helpful for the wrong reason, which could potentially turn into a mindless spam send when a single person asks a question on a server. For the rating for this method, I do give it 2 stars, and my experience with this kind of ties into when a project called the Donut Shop. I was one of the first to enter the server and I was helping people out. And I kid you not, probably within 10 messages of me helping someone out, I was able to get whitelisted. But that just goes to show that a smaller server, you're able to get noticed more, which is why it's important to learn about these early bird NFT review projects, which I'm releasing within my Patreon group. So let's go ahead and move on to method number 4. Method number 4 involves creatives. The amount of time to implement this method can range anywhere from little to moderate time, and the chances of getting a whitelist spot are definitely not guaranteed. For one, you need to be able to have someone from the NFT project team notice your project, and then they have to actually decide their opinion on whether or not it's a good, worthy reason for you to get a whitelist spot. So while you may be creating a masterpiece work of art, which you think is absolutely amazing, one of the team members on the NFT project who looks at that art may think otherwise. For me, I'm not an artist, but I am a YouTuber. So what I've done was create a YouTube video outlining what I thought were some highlights of some NFT projects I was interested in. And in return, I was able to get whitelist spots. The return that you get from implementing this method is probably only strictly the NFT, just because you won't be making any friends since you're not really communicating with other individuals. The cons of this method though is that it requires you to be very creative. These are the ways I've seen people be creative and actually earn whitelist spots. Number 1, fan art. Number 2, memes. Number 3, they host quizzes or games on the Discord server. And number 4 is YouTube videos. As far as the rating goes for this method, I do give it 2 stars. And my experience with this method ties back to a project called Everfire, in which I was able to create a quick YouTube video review on their project highlighting the features that I liked. They saw it, they reached out to me, and they handed me a whitelist spot. So let's move on to method number 5. Method number 5 involves holding NFTs. The amount of time it takes to hold an NFT is almost seamless. It's very passive. You don't really have to spend time holding an NFT. As for the chances of getting a whitelist spot, it's likely guaranteed if you're holding their NFT. The return that you get from holding their NFTs is strictly the NFT. However, the cons of this method is that it's dependent on the project. Getting a whitelist spot for a Generation 2 collection of a project that just minted, that depends on whether or not they're actually releasing a Generation 2. So it's not like just because you're part of a project, you're guaranteed a whitelist spot from a completely different project. It's usually a project within the same collection or universe that you would get a whitelist spot for. But again, that depends on whether or not the project is actually going to release a second collection, as in comparison, some projects usually only stick with one collection. As far as the rating goes, I do give this method of getting a whitelist spot 3 stars, and my experience with this has been to hold the JRNY Club Pass, in which if you hold the Journey Club Pass, they will guarantee you a whitelist spot, or aka an actual free mint for the Voyager collection that is releasing in March. So a lot of NFT projects do this, but they only do it internally. As I said before, it's dependent on the project. Don't think that just because you hold one NFT, you're going to be guaranteed whitelist spots for other NFTs. You're likely going to be guaranteed whitelist spots though within the same collection. Method number 6 involves becoming an influencer, and the amount of time it takes to become an influencer can be a lot. So as far as the chances go, as an influencer, you can reach out to other projects in which you're interested in, and you can use your social proof following to kind of leverage the reach that their project can be put in front of, as long as they collaborate with you and provide whitelist spots for your community and such. Because you're an influencer though, a lot of NFT projects will likely reach out to you asking you to promote or collaborate with their project in exchange for whitelist spots. In return, you are likely guaranteed whitelist spots, not only just one, but a lot for you and your community. Being an influencer is potentially like running an NFT, but without the NFT. Additionally, you're likely to get a lot of networking opportunities and other streams of revenue from becoming an influencer. The cons of becoming an influencer though is that it is absolutely not easy. It takes a lot of time. And whether you decide to try and make a presence on YouTube, Twitter, or Instagram, the initial stages of your presence will be very difficult to get kickstarted and up and running. As far as rating goes for this method of getting whitelist spots, I rate it 5 stars simply because it is so easy to get whitelist spots when you're an influencer. And the reason why is because influencers play a crucial role when it comes to the marketing success of NFT projects. They need influencers, or influencers are basically a good method or way to get their project in front of NFT enthusiasts, NFT investors, and NFT traders. So an example of my experience is me running my channel JC NFT, which you should probably subscribe to if you haven't by now. Method number 7 involves public giveaways. So the time it takes to join these public giveaways is actually very, very little time invested. It just depends who you follow on Twitter and such, and whether or not they're actually hosting a giveaway. But the chances of you getting a whitelist spot depend on how many people actually join the giveaway. But I imagine that your chances of getting a whitelist spot would be extremely low, since the barrier to entry for this method is also extremely low. For a public giveaway, literally anyone on Twitter who sees the giveaway can join the giveaway. As far as return goes, you'll strictly only get the whitelist spot, really nothing else. And for cons, chances can be very slim, as I've said before, depending on how many people are actually joining the giveaway. For a very hyped up project, expect less than a 1 out of 10,000 chance of actually being chosen to win the giveaway. So as for a rating goes for this method of getting a whitelist spot, I do give it 2 stars. And my experience with it is that I've personally won giveaways for early bird projects. The example I'm talking about is Fortune Friends Clubs being one of them. Although the project was small, eventually the hype built up, but because the project was small, I was able to have a higher chance of actually winning their whitelist spot giveaway. This just goes to show again why it's important to be aware of early bird projects, which you can find out by subscribing to my YouTube channel. Now, method number 8 is hiring a whitelist hunter team. So I basically just coined this term just because I think it sounds so sick and so cool, but the time it takes to hire a whitelist hunter team is a little to a moderate amount of time because of the hiring / vetting process. Now, the chances of you getting a whitelist spot are also low to moderate because that depends on who you hire. So what I mean by this is that a whitelist hunter team is basically you going on Upwork or Fiverr, for example, and hiring someone to kind of engage on a Discord server. It's a little weird, but I come from a background in which I outsource a lot of work on my other YouTube channels, in which I hire a scriptwriter, I hire a voiceover artist, I hire a video editor, and we pump out videos. The same concept or same workflow model I brought over, or was thinking about doing in the NFT space. In this case, I would just hire individuals to create fan art, I would hire individuals to speak on Discord servers, and once you get whitelisted, and once it's time for wallet submission, they would just submit your own wallet address. Now, the return is strictly only whitelist spots. You really won't get anything else from this, aside from forming good network connections with the people that you work with. But the cons of it is that it's going to cost overhead money. You are going to be paying these people hourly usually, or sometimes weekly. And it is a little risky, especially because there's going to be the thought of them, in which imagine that they're engaging on a Discord server, they get a whitelist spot. What's going to stop them from just inputting their own wallet addresses? That is the risk involved. However, contrary to that type of risk is that if you're thinking, why would someone want to engage on a Discord server and spend hours talking in there and then get a whitelist spot, but then submit my own wallet address to them? The reason is because they possibly can't afford that overhead capital of minting a project for like 0.3 Ethereum or even 0.1 Ethereum. Because let's be real, that's like almost $500 to $1,000, and the individuals that I recommend you looking for are usually individuals from like third world countries such as the Philippines. So this is a method that I've done in my very initial stages of trying to get whitelist spots. I had a good system going on. I eventually canceled it because it started getting pricey. But as for the rating goes for this method, I do give it 3 stars. So after all that, now that you've got the whitelist spot, now what? Should you just instantly mint it when mint day comes? No. Well, it actually depends. Within the NFT space, you can partake in one of 2 main roles, an investor or a trader. As an investor, you should be doing your own research on NFT projects and watching my own videos. From that, you can make your own decision as to whether or not you want to mint the project if it's worthy of being invested into. Contrary to that though, as a trader, here's what I do prior to mint day. Number 1, make sure my wallet address has been submitted and confirmed. I can't tell you how many times I've been whitelisted for a project, but I forgot to submit my wallet address. So come mint day, I try minting and my wallet, I may have the whitelist role, but that doesn't mean my wallet was confirmed. So therefore I was not able to mint. The second step is on mint day, projects usually give you anywhere from like 12 to 48 hours to mint their NFT. But before I mint, I check the floor price on OpenSea usually. So if the floor price is only 0.01 to 0.05 Ethereum above the mint price, I usually won't mint the NFT. But if the floor price is 0.1 Ethereum or more above the mint price, I usually try and max out the number of mints. As my friend says, no one ever lost money taking profits, right? If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. And if you want to be part of our alpha community group, check out the link in the description below as well. Thanks so much for watching everyone, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.